So throughout this, another longtime Batman character has been starting to get his bearings, the Joker. Basically, ever since Batman retired,
Shit.
he went to a pretty much a catatonic state and was just basically staring out the world, just not caring, not really reacting to anything. But then when they see that Batman's back, it basically brings him back to the world, and he's reinvigorated. He comes up with this whole plan, and Joker wakes up basically from his own self-induced coma or whatever, and he decides to make a big comeback. There's this psychologist, basically, he's basically Miller's parody of guys like Dr. Phil, and folks are making a name for themselves as doctors and who really shouldn't be practicing, as they're very full of themselves, think their
Yeah.
opinion is gospel. Like,
Yep.
he was a former shrink for Two-Face, and that
Yeah,
didn't
we see
stop
how
him.
well they worked out.
Yeah, but even then, he's able to cover his own behind through all that, and he's like, just like the way he words stuff, and it's a whole thing. So he's also the Joker's doctor, because they were both at like the same mental
Yeah, I'm thinking he didn't do a
house.
good job on the Joker either.
Well, to be fair,
The
he didn't really
Joker.
have to do anything to the Joker. He was basically just staring off into space for 10 years.
Also, the Joker, catatonic or no, is beyond help.
Yeah.
We know this.
So Joker is able to manipulate him into getting him on the Dave Letterman show. Well, not really Dave Letterman. In the comic,
But
he's called David Endocrine, but it's the same first name. He's drawn the same. He's
I
got
forgot
like
about that.
he's
Yeah, the
got like
Dave Letterman stand-in.
the same sidekick off to the side who runs the band.
Oh my god. Dave Endocrine. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, in the movie, he was basically a parody of Conan O'Brien, and they even got him to voice the role.
That's brilliant. But they probably did that to avoid pissing off Dave Letterman. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think O'Brien was already like a fan of the comics, so he was probably more than happy to do it. Plus, by that point, Letterman hadn't been on TV for a while, so
it wasn't quite relevant. So that makes sense.
yeah. So he goes on the show.
Let's put Joker and Dave Letterman. That's your brilliant psychological opinion. All right, go on.
It's all right. Well, have you seen the Joker movie?
No, I have not.
Yeah, it's its weird own little take on the mythology. He's like Joker, but he's also not Joker. It's weird, it's complicated, but basically he goes on the show, he kills the host, but in the comic he also kills the audience. And
unsurprisingly.
Batman tries to come in and stop him before all this happens, and there are cops on the roof because they want to prevent the Joker from potentially escaping. Because they know, hey, even if this quack is saying that he's sane, he's still someone that you gotta keep a close eye on. So yeah, he kills Endocrine, he kills his doctor, he kills the audience, and then he escapes. Batman tries to get in there to stop him, but the cops fight him off, and Robin has to fly him out. They're on the helicopter. Joker.
Good job.
Well, Gotham City Police have never had the best track record to begin with.
No, Commissioner Gordon tried.
He tried, yeah, but Gotham City is a rat hole to begin with.
He's one man.
Right, so Joker has like this whole thing planned where he wants to meet up with Batman and have like another big fight with him. So he gets to Selina Kyle, who in this, Frank Miller has basically made a madam running a prostitution ring. He's got a thing for making female characters like either unlikable or they're prostitutes. Like he basically made Catwoman's origin into that she was a prostitute in Batman Year
He's
One.
obsessed with Catwoman being a prostitute.
Guy's just misogynist.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for saying it so I didn't have to.
So he gets to Catwoman. He ties her up. He gets one of her prostitutes to use like this mind control lipstick on a politician.
Yep.
And just basically starts making chaos. And they learn that he's going to end up being at this carnival where a lot of Carrie's friends are. Cops are on their trail, but they're able to get away. And they end up going over, and we find out that Joker and like his little henchman who was there with him, they've been poisoning this cotton candy that they've been giving out. So people are starting to drop dead there, and this is like Carrie's first exposure to people dying, like actual death, and it just really hits her hard. But by that point, they have a job to do. And so Batman goes after the Joker while she deals with the henchman and like his little flying doll things. Yeah, that was weird. That was weird even for Miller.
That's a low bar.
Yeah, she ends up taking care of them. Like she's able to shoot. Her main weapon is like a slingshot. She shoots the little guy, the little doll that was flying around off the roller coaster track until so that it'll explode away from the track as it kills people. And in the comic, the guy gets his head like decapitated by the same coaster.
Of course.
And throughout all of this, Batman's fighting Joker, but this time he's not pulling any punches. Like he's throwing batarangs. One gets lodged in the Joker's eye. Joker's just shooting at him, lead him through like a fun house, through the tunnel of love.
Because of course that's very fitting for the Joker.
Yeah, like in Frank Miller's mind, like this is sort of like how it kind of started, like in comics today. Joker and Batman have sort of a symbiotic relationship. One can't exist without the other. At least that's how the Joker sees it. And you saw it like in story, like Joker was doing nothing when Batman left after Batman had retired. Then he came back, and so did the Joker. And so he wanted one last big hurrah, chance to finally kill the guy. And so he's killing all these people at the fair, and he's getting up close and fighting with Batman. He's stabbing him like in the gut with his knife and everything. And he's just egging him on. And Batman, he snaps the Joker's neck. Not enough to kill him, but enough to paralyze the guy. But to folks run around in terror, it might look like he killed him. So to sort of let that happen and sort of make sure that he's hunted the rest of his life, Joker snaps his own neck, and Batman's just sitting there bleeding out next to him until loses consciousness. He's then he hears like voices, like the cops are coming in, so he sets like a little thermal bomb or whatever by the Joker so that if anyone tries to mess with the body, it catches on fire. So he tries to escape from the cops, doesn't do so unscathed. Robin has to come in and help him, like get onto the copter. He's in pretty rough shape, to say the least. Now, let's get into the political aspect that Miller had been working his way through the story. Something I hadn't talked about, another character, Superman. He has a presence throughout this story, particularly in the second half.
And he is unrecognizable as...
Pretty much. Yeah.
The whole rant, but okay.
Yeah.
But Superman in this story is a whole unrecognizable character, but we'll call him Superman for the sake. Anyways.
Pretty much,
Miller,
yeah. like
Superman.
Yeah, he doesn't like Superman to begin with, so he basically just makes him do whatever. He At this point he's basically President Reagan's lapdog. He goes in, he fights the Soviets in this fictional island in the DC universe called Corto Maltese. He's fighting, he's killing, but he's doing so in a way that he can't be seen, because as far as the general public is concerned, like superheroes, the other superheroes are gone, or they made like some kind of deal or whatever, and but the only one active still is Superman. Wonder Woman had gone back to Themyscira. Hal Jordan went to space.
Which makes sense because Hal Jordan has so much of space to
right.
patrol.
He doesn't have to deal with these idiots.
He's like, bye, Felicia's. I'm out.
Yeah, the only one left was Oliver Queen, and he was basically doing the same thing that Batman was doing. Like, he didn't care. And so Reagan sent Superman to basically take care of it. And since Green Arrow's an archer, he basically ripped off his arm so he couldn't pull an arrow anymore.
Superman would fucking never. He'd never.
Yeah, never. He would not. So at some point, Reagan tells him,
story, Superman would. So we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. This is a whole different take.
Mm-hmm.
So he tells him, like, obviously by that point he knows that Batman is back, and he's basically making the authorities look stupid, and that makes him look bad
because they are stupid.
Yeah, but he doesn't like it being so obvious. So he sends him Superman.
How dare you make us look stupid by being competent?
So he sends him Superman to basically tell him, hey, look, you gotta stop this. You're making some powerful people look bad. And Batman's like, get out of here. Like, I don't care. It's like,
he's
look,
like, fuck off.
Pretty much. Like, at some point he'll probably tell me that I gotta come and stop you. And Batman's just like, when that happens, may the best man win.
And this is where we get the inspiration for Batman v Superman, but
pretty much. That's a whole nother can of worms.
Yes.
So let's see, where were we at? Batman is very much injured. He's bleeding out. Carrie brought him back to the mansion. Alfred's patching him up, and word gets out, like the news, the talking heads. I mean, that something's going down in Corto Maltese, and you cut to the president, who's like wearing like a hazmat suit and everything in an undisclosed location. Like, hey, good news, bad news. Good news, Soviets are leaving Corto Maltese. We've had total victory. Bad news, they're kind of sore losers. And so they launched a nuke at the island, basically to U.S. territory, and so Superman has to go up and sort of get it out of the area, make sure it doesn't land anywhere. So he brings it up to the atmosphere, it explodes.
So the one character thing Superman would do.
The one Superman thing, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So it explodes, and also like in BVS, he basically becomes like a shriveled up corpse, barely alive. Mm-hmm. He falls back to Earth, and because of the nuke going off, it basically causes nuclear winter like conditions and sets off an EMP. So basically the US is screwed. Yes. And since Superman's solar powered, like he gets his energy and whatnot from the sun, what he does, basically he just takes it from the Earth itself. Like it basically kills off an entire field of plant life and vegetation, just so he can sort of reconstitute himself.
Right.
So no power, and the authorities aren't able to help anything. So looting and riots start up. Bruce realizes what's going on, and so he basically takes Robin, grabs a few horses from his stables, and they ride into town pretty much like Zorro from like the original movie, just riding
Because
into
of course
town and
the
trying
rich
to
boy
save the
has
day.
horses.
All right. All right. We'll cut back to here.
Yes, come back to here.
All right. So chaos, rioting, looting, all this stuff is happening in Gotham. And Batman and Robin ride in on horseback to try and save the day. They
How
end
cool
up
is that?
they recruit the Sons of Batman gang to help them and to basically start to lead by example. Like, hey, don't go shooting guns at people. This isn't helping anyone. Just in time, I'll show you how to really do it. But for now, we need you to help us sort of regroup people in the city. So they end up doing that. They stop the rioting. Jim Gordon, around this time, he was sent out to get some groceries, and when all the chaos hits, he's trying to desperately to get home to his wife, and just one thing after another makes him stop to help. Like he helps to put out like a big fire and be able to sort of rally the neighborhood into helping. Eventually, he gets back and he sees that he thinks that his wife is dead because their building's on fire. But as it turns out, she went out not too long after him because she forgot to put something on his grocery list, and so she's okay.
And this is something Frank Miller did well, was just the little things with showing the goodness of characters, with showing the
With
goodness
these
of
particular characters. Yeah.
Okay, go on.
All right.
We spend so much time bashing Frank Miller. It's like, okay, we need to talk a little bit about some of the good things he's done. I don't know why, because I'm not a Frank Miller fan.
We're trying to be non-biased and whatnot.
Exactly. So we don't get totally flamed, but I can take it.
I'm sure you can.
Yeah, thanks.
So by this point, pretty much every other city in the U.S. is in chaos, martial laws, not getting anything done. The president and all of his associates are looking like total idiots. There's only one spot in the entire country that's relatively normal, and it's Gotham. They're the only ones who got their act together, and that's because Batman basically put
Rode on a horse.
Yeah,
like
pretty much. Yeah, he rode an a la Zorro. And even the cops, they're not giving him trouble anymore. There's a scene earlier, like before the big fight with the mutant leader, where Jim Gordon's telling Ellen Yindel about this story he heard about President Roosevelt. Basically, that he knew that an attack by the Japanese on Pearl Harbor was imminent, and he may have let that happen because he wanted to inspire the United States to sort of come together and fight against a common enemy.
Oof.
And so he didn't know what to think about that for a while until eventually realized it wasn't his place to judge or whatever. He was too big. And later on, like at this exact moment, Yendel's watching Batman sort of do his thing. He's leading the gang into basically helping to restore order and whatnot. There are some other cops who got like a shot lined up on him. It's like, should I take it? No, he's too big. That's her response. So she gets it. She's probably not going to be helping him with anything or whatever, but she at least realizes that there's nothing she can do. She should just stay out of the way.
Finally.
Now, this is a very big embarrassment towards the president and his administration. So at this point, he basically tells Superman, hey, you got to do what you got to do. You got to take him in. And at
fake
this point,
Superman, quote unquote. We're going to call it fake Superman. Sorry.
Sure.
I'm dictating that.
Whatever you want.
I'm sorry.
It's all good.
I'm being bossy, but yes, we will call him fake Superman or Miller Superman.
Sure.
Okay, so he sends in Miller Superman.
Hmm. And Batman knows that a fight with him is imminent, so he starts to sort of plan for it. He brings in Oliver Queen,
He's
like a one-armed Oliver Queen.
Batman.
Hmm. And he's working with Carrie Kelly to sort of keeping her trained and everything. And then eventually, like, laser vision shoots down from the sky, asking him where are they going to do this? And he picks Crime Alley, basically the spot where Batman was born.
Fitting.
Mhm.
Sad,
So,
but fitting.
mhm. So this is gonna be like a whole thing that's televised and whatnot, and or it's gonna be like closely monitored by the military, and they're actually refusing to let people report on it. Like they turn off like all the broadcasters, all the news, and everything. They deny anyone from getting close to it and
Because you can't let them when
see what's going on,
when the people of Gotham believe in Batman, you can't let them see
what
the
they've got going on.
the government's hero kill Batman.
Especially a hero that they had condemned years prior,
Yep.
but has been secretly working for them for the past decade.
Yep.
So, Batman has set all these traps in anticipation for it. He's got like some missiles set to launch once they detect like his X-ray vision when he's flying over, and so they knock him down to the ground. Harry's shooting him with the Batmobile, like with the tank Batmobile. But he's able to just sort of flip that over and disable her from getting involved. Then you see Batman step out. He's got like this big mech suit on, like the one you see in the Snyder
That
movie, Batman v
one.
Superman.
They did really good with that. Say
Yeah,
anything else you want about the movie? That
it
suit
or the
was
mark a bit, but
dead on.
yeah, and so yeah, the Batman suit was very good. The mech and the original one that they had, because that was basically minus the trunks. That's the basically the Frank Miller suit with the big bat. It's gray and black. He's got the short ears.
Beautiful.
Mhm. Probably the most comic accurate bat suit put to screen.
For real.
Mhm. So they have their big fight, and they're sort of knocking each other around. And Batman's actually getting the upper hand because he's got all these surprises planned for Superman. Plus, he's still kind of weak after being hit by that nuke. He's not at 100%. So, and with the mech suit and everything, it's sort of more believable that Batman could take on
But
Superman in this
also
thing. Hmm.
because he's Batman.
He's Batman.
I'm sorry, I cannot do the
But
voice, but God knows
it's
I'm
all
gonna
good.
try.
All good. And Superman doesn't even want to fight him. He wants to sort of bring him in. He doesn't want to hurt the guy, but eventually, like, okay, I've had enough of this. So he starts really fighting back seriously. He knocks the helmet off. He cracks his ribs. He starts fighting serious, and
Villain
then
Superman.
and then Batman basically gives a signal, and you see Green Arrow, who's just waiting on some rooftop. He'd been chased by like the troops who have been sent in to monitor the whole situation. And so he's hanging upside down, and he's got an arrow, a kryptonite arrow,
Of
notched on a
course.
bow that he's holding with his
Uh-huh.
teeth, and he shoots it at Superman. And he knows that's coming, so he just grabs it, but the thing explodes in his face like kryptonite napalm, basically. And now he
Yep.
can't. He's weak. He can
Because
barely
he's
breathe.
freaking Green Arrow, and Green Arrow never misses a shot.
Nope, he does
And
not.
even when Superman catches it, that's what was intended.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
even when
so,
he's unarmed,
mhm,
still like, bam.
yep.
Sorry.
All right. So Batman takes.
I cosplay Black Canary. I gotta love Green Arrow a little bit. I'm sorry.
All right.
Go
You've had,
on.
you've had a few drinks. That's why this is called Drunk Comics.
Yes. Yes.
So by this point, Superman's much weaker now, and Batman's just going to town on the guy. He's bruised and beaten. And he's like, I want you to remember everything. Like, I want you to remember my hand at your throat. I want you to remember this one moment and all of your quiet, private moments later on. I want you to remember the one man who beat you. And then, like, he has a heart attack and dies. And
Frank Miller, who fucking hurt you?
I'm sure
Right?
you'll have many different answers for that one.
Right? Poor
So,
man.
yeah, it turns out Batman had taken some pill like an hour before he fought Superman, and so he has a heart attack and he dies. And Superman, he still like cares about like his old friend. He won't let the military touch Batman. At this point, Carrie has retreated with Green Arrow someplace underground where the soldiers can't follow, and Wayne Manor has self-destructed, and Alfred, he has like a stroke and he dies outside.
Oh my god. Frank
And
Miller, who
he's
hurt
like,
you?
how utterly proper, because the house is gone and the butler who maintains it. How fitting that he basically
First.
dies as well. So there's a funeral. Word's gotten out by that point that Bruce Wayne was Batman, and all of his funds and resources, like, they went missing, and he's getting buried. And there's like a big funeral with, like, you see different characters there. You see Ellen Yindel, she's there. You see Jim Gordon and his wife. You see Clark there, and he's still pretty beaten up. He's got like a black eye. He's kind of got a bruised face, and you see
All right,
Selena
Clark.
Kyle come over, and she's all pissed off. He's like, I know it was your fault. You killed him and whatnot. And there's someone else as well, like a supposed cousin of Batman, who's basically just wearing like a mourning shroud and whatnot. And so everyone was just left with her there, and Superman, like, so, like, he's in his Clark Kent get up. He's got the glasses and everything. So he's leaving, and he hears a heartbeat, and he looks back. He hears another one, and he sees that it's Carrie Kelly wearing the getup, and she's got a shovel underneath, like, the shroud that she's wearing. Here's the heartbeat. He gets what's going on. He basically gives her that classic Superman wink. He goes away, and so the pill that Batman took basically was sort of meant to mimic death, put him in like a death-like state, sort of like Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
Juliet, she took like that potion or whatever, which put her in a death-like state. It's kind of like that.
Luckily, no one got depressed and then took another pill or took poison
Yeah.
and died because of it.
Yeah. So later on, she digs him up, and they get together at a new location with the Sons of Batman and with Oliver, and they're gonna start like a new mission. Basically, they're gonna keep doing what they're doing.
Poor Alfred did die.
Yeah,
so
Alfred did die. Yeah,
Alfred kind of was the Romeo. I'm sorry. Okay, go on.
yes, kind of. But that was the point. It was meant to look like Batman was dead, so that they could operate from the shadows and no one would bother them. And Clark would leave them alone because he'd say, "Hey, Batman's dead. I got nothing to. I
can
don't
go
have a
back
dog
to
in
my
this fight."
boss and pretend like I know nothing.
Pretty much, yeah. And
Good for you,
the
Clark.
issue, and the book ends that I was looking for a good death, but this will be a good life. And that's how it ends until we get two crappy sequels, and
everyone lived happily ever after. And we're gonna pretend
Sure.
the sequels didn't end.
Sure, I just ignored them. Yeah.
That's what we do with comics. As comics fans, we cherry pick.
More or less, yeah. But
We
yeah,
pretend
that was
crappy
Dark Knight
sequels
Returns.
didn't happen.
Mhm.
So,
So you have any other thoughts, comments on the story?
no, I think that's about it. Except again, who hurt Frank Miller, and is he okay right now? I don't think he is.
Depends on how you mean okay.
I don't think he is. Oh my god, can someone go give him a hug?
Eh,
Maybe not.
I
Probably not in this. It's 2020. No, probably no one can give him a hug. He needs a hug.
Probably.
Frank Miller, you're probably not watching this because like 8 people are watching this, but we're giving you a hug right now, mentally.
All right.
We called you a misogynist earlier, but we're still giving you a hug. I don't know. Thank you for being on the show.
Happy to help as always.
Again, thank you for being my Batman guy. As we've discussed, you're like my only Batman guy right now. So, cheers
I've
to
got plenty
that.
more to talk about later.
Oh, there's so many good Batman shows, or so many good Batman issues.
We could probably talk about a movie at some point.
Yes, no, I can't talk. Yes, we can talk about movies.
Maybe at some point after we do all the comics, then we'll get to the movies.
Oh my god, we can't do all the comics. That would take forever.
Well, most of the good ones.
Okay, mostly good ones. Yes. And then we can talk about
maybe a few bad ones, just so we can get drunk over and be like, "What were they thinking?"
That would be fun. And then we can talk about the movies, the good and the bad,
and the ugly,
and the ugly.
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
All right.